Thank you for coming. Coach Darrell Hazel is joined by freshman punter Anthony Melchiori and junior tight end Tim Erjavec.
Well, it was a great win for our program. I thought to overcome the 14-point deficit and then come back a few times when we went down 21-7. I thought our kids showed a lot of character and a lot of poise. One of the things as you watch the film and you look for little things, I challenged them to go out of their way to handle the ball to the official on Saturday. And that's one of the things that jumped off the film. Our guys did a great job of handing the ball to the official after every single time they had a chance to touch the ball. The other thing is I thought when you get into rivalry games and it's a little bit chippy, that we have to show great restraint and great discipline. When there's some shoving going on, I thought our kids did a great job of showing some great discipline and restraint throughout the course of the game. Good win. As I've always said, it's hard to win football games, and I don't care who you're playing. Everybody's trying to do the same thing, and I thought they were an outstanding offensive football team, and you could see right at the end of the first half our defense started to settle in and got them slowed down. They kicked the field goal right before the half, but I thought our defense did a great job responding in the second half, and the offense was outstanding, running the football and getting big chunks of yards, and our kicking game was phenomenal. So it was a good win for our program.
Talk about being in this situation 3 ago, controlling your own destiny, how you worked to get to this point, and here you are, going down this road.
Again, and you don't like to sound like a football coach, but it's really one game at a time. You don't look at 3 games to go. It's about the preparation for Miami and the process which got us here in the first place, and all the preparation that goes into each single day throughout the course of the week. And that's where our focus is.
Anthony, it's just every week you seem to one-up yourself a little bit. I mean, can you talk about, we kind of talked about this before, being the freshman and stepping in, and you just got it rolling from day one and just keeps going.
Yeah, the success we continue to have as especially as a punt unit is just, we're just exceeding ourselves every week, and it's not just me back there, it's everyone. Even Chad Bushley, long snapper, getting the ball back to me quick, and our operation times really well. Our snipers on the outside, Malcolm Pinnell had a great day on Saturday covering, and the whole punt team itself had a great day covering. And so I mean, my job is to catch a snap and punt the ball. Everybody else, everybody else does their job, and when everybody does their job, you're gonna have success. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now, and hopefully we continue to do that.
Well, the stats, I mean, across the board impressive, but I think the one that really jumps out, I believe you have 15 total punt return yards against for the season. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I haven't. I think our kids have done a phenomenal job. I should probably stop calling them kids, young men. They've done a phenomenal job. Ball placement, the punter, and it's almost like a competitive thing amongst our players to get down and who can get that guy stopped the fastest, and it's across the board. It's not only our snipers, but it's our other guys on the other side as well. So it's fun to watch on Sundays.
Who are the guys the snipers? Are they pretty consistently the same people?
Oh yeah, they've been consistent. It's been Malcolm Pinnell and Darius Polk. Who else have we had out there, Tim? Andre's been out there a little bit. Yep.
How do you pinpoint guy? Obviously, speed's a huge thing, but how do you separate the guys that you put there? What do you look for?
Well, speed's a huge thing because if you can get on top of the guy that's trying to block you, it's hard for that guy. But also it's about will and guys that want to get down there, want to get the guy tackled. And we got a lot of guys right now that on that whole unit, not just those guys, that have some great will.
Obviously, kicking it high is another thing, too. I mean, giving them time to get down.
Yeah, I mean, hang time is huge when it comes to punting. The longer the ball's in the air, that's pretty much the more time it gives the returner to decide, to fair catch it, which is good and helps with the net yards as well, which includes the punt along with the return. Hang time is just a real crucial element in punting, and when you get good hang time, you're not going to get that many returns. And when you intermix the how far the punt goes and how high it goes, if you can evenly put the two together, then you're going to get barely any returns, which is what, that's what I strive to do and what I try to do. And I think it's been doing all right, seeing as we only have 15 total yards returned on us in, how many games? 8.
You probably didn't know what to expect coming in, but can you talk about the emphasis that coaches put on special teams? A lot more so than you thought coming in, about what you expected?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like people see special teams as kind of just, there, you got to do it. But here, I was not expecting special teams to be this, or coaches to see it as important. But Coach Hazel stresses special teams almost as much as you would stress offense and defense, and it motivates us. It wants us to be the greatest unit out there, and the more success we have and the more we stress it, it just motivates us to get better and better every week, and I think we're doing that.
Darryl, in our last three home games this year, when the opposition, Ball State, Western Michigan, Akron, have taken the lead in the second half or been up, your guys have outscored them from that point 48-0. Where's that resilience coming from?
Wow, I didn't realize that stat, but I think a lot has to do with all three phases feeding off of each other. The beginning part of last season, when we first came in here, I thought that when we were struggling offensively and the defense was playing so well that you could feel there's some frustration from the defensive side. But now the defensive guys realize that the offense is pretty potent and that they can score. So I think one feeds off of the other one looks for a big play, and I think we do a good job of settling in on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, trying to figure out what they're trying to do to us, and I think our staff does a good job of finding the next step.
Anthony, question from Stephanie Storm. The speed of you getting the punts off was kind of a concern over the summer. What have you done to help that?
Just constant working at it. That was some or an issue or a concern at the beginning of the season, but after working with Chad a lot, just on snap to punt and the operation time, the more you work at it, the better you get, and as we can continue to do that over the season, it's just gotten quicker and quicker to a point where it's just second nature to get it off as quick as possible, and we don't even really worry about it because it just happens. It's just kind of it's not really a concern anymore. It's just it's working out for us. So,
Tim, coaches talk a lot about handing the ball back to the officials. How easy or hard is that when you're in a game like Saturday?
I don't think it's that hard, really. It's just kind of discipline, It's just you don't leave the ball on the ground because the ball is a program, so just get it back in the official's hand and go on to the next play. It's kind of, you just got to constantly remind yourself, like, subconsciously just to hand it back to him. It's just kind of a habit.
You do it in the end zone, too. Talk about that just in terms of, the end zone celebrations are kind of a part of football, but you have that Barry Sanders approach of act like they've been there.
Well, I think it shows respect for the football. I think it shows respect for the officials anytime you can hand the ball back so they don't have to bend over and pick it up. And I think that, we're getting to the point right now that we're celebrating much more with our teammates, and that's what it's all about. It's doing all the things that we can do together.
Growing up in football, did that kind of turn you off when people would, the Billy White Shoes Johnson stuff? And
No, we all mimic that behavior in the playground. We've all done the same. We've done the Billy White Shoes Johnson, the Butch Johnsons, and all those guys. But to win championships, you got to give the ball back to the official because it leaves no doubt where that ball is at the end of the play.
It's also just another element of bringing discipline to the team.
Absolutely. It's about discipline.
Tim, I remember early in the game, maybe like 10 completions in, there was already 7 different receivers that caught passes. Can you talk about that kind of philosophy going on? How many different people are contributing to the passing game?
You know, it's just kind of everyone doing their job. You know, when you get the ball thrown to you, you catch it. It's just that simple. You know, you have to make plays when it comes time to make a play.
That kind of makes it harder to defend, though. I mean,
Yeah.
not one or two people. There's so many different possibilities there for a defense to try.
Yeah, it just makes our offense more versatile.
Had a chance to look at Miami yet?
I have. I've studied those guys yesterday, and I studied them this morning as well. I looked at all their special teams, and they're very sound. They do a good job of running down on kicks and covering kicks. Defensively, very simplistic but sound. They play a lot of man-free as well as a lot of cover four. Get a lot of hats around the ball when they can. They drop the extra safety in the box to the weak side. Offensively, obviously, they got the great quarterback who's all-time at Miami, the thing that you like about him is he keeps the play alive and keeps his eyes downfield. So we got to stay in coverage when things break down. You watch that last game against Buffalo, he made some plays on that last drive to potentially put it in overtime. Obviously, it didn't go into overtime, but to potentially put it in overtime. He made some plays on that drive. He's a good player.
Are they kind of an up-tempo, or are they more?
You know, they do a little bit of look, no huddle stuff, but not a whole bunch. Just enough to keep you off guard a little bit.
Where are you with, when you think about your pass defense, are you comfortable with where they're giving up a lot of yards, but they're opportunistic? Where are you with the give and take there?
Well, I think the big thing is third down. We got to be able to get off the field a little bit better on third down. But other than that, I think, you know, we're keeping it in front of us for the most part and tackling it. Again, I think we need to have a little bit better underneath coverage to take away some of those mid zones, those 15-yard completions, those 12-yard dig routes that were hurting us. We got to get our linebackers to get a little bit more depth. But as you saw in the second half, they played a little bit better, and I thought they did a good job adjusting.
Bowden said you closed in with your coverages. Can you put that into perspective? How much do you really close in? What is a good cushion on the outside, and even with the linebackers?
Well, I think if you're a fast corner, that you could slow pedal just about anything and still get away from it and make the quarterback throw a perfect ball. Now, if you're not as fast, you're gonna have to get out a little bit quicker and be a little bit crafty. I mean, the guy that comes to my mind is a guy who used to play for the Cowboys, Everson Walls, who was a 4'6", 4'7" guy, but he was very crafty. He was tugging on guys, cutting guys off. But if you're a fast guy, I would slow pedal it all and make the quarterback throw a perfect ball.
Can you quantify, though, the difference between first and second half?
Well, I thought our guys challenged them more in the second half. They really did. I thought they slowed it down a little bit, their pedal down a little bit, and came up and made some plays on some balls. Yeah.
You mentioned settling in. Obviously, that's a good thing you're able to do. Is there any issues coming in as far as why you didn't get settled in quicker? Or did they do something? These teams doing something a little different than you thought coming in? Or
No. Again, you can't simulate good football teams until you're out there on the field, and that was a good offensive football team. I thought he was one of the better quarterbacks. I said he was comfortable. He threw a nice, soft, catchable ball. He was accurate with his balls, and those are hard to stop. Some of those 5-yard completions, 10-yard completions, especially if you're jumping routes underneath. But it takes a little bit of time to get used to some of those guys.
You're in an unusual position that you haven't been in, where you can do some scoreboard watching. Do you allow yourself to watch OU on Wednesday and kind of get a feel for where you are, or do you just focus on yourself?
Yeah, I'll take a look. We'll, like all the players, will just kind of take a look, see what's going around in the MAC, you know, just to know kind of down the road, for example, what we have going on for, like, after the game, we'll see, you know, Buffalo beat Miami, just kind of just look at it. But we know we still have to come and play no matter what, who beat who.
Coach, how do you handle it with kind of keeping up with what's going on around you?
Yeah, I don't do a good job of keeping up with the other teams in the conference. I'm totally focused on things that we have to do, and it's, you know, time ticks so fast throughout the course of the week, and Fridays and Saturdays come around so fast. And I just realized, I just heard on the MAC media conference that I didn't even realize Ohio's playing Bowling Green on Wednesday night. So that's a big game in the conference, obviously. And
Anticipate that you'll watch it, or do you think you'll be working?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen on Wednesday night, but the most important thing is our guys. That's the most important thing right now, getting our guys ready.
Paying much attention to the polls? It's probably kind of a similar question.
No. No, I don't.
How about players? You guys know where you're at or anything?
No, not really in that aspect. I don't really know either. I just take it a week at a time. The only thing on my mind right now is beat Miami, and all of us, and I think players would say the same. We just got to take it one game at a time, and I just got to focus on what I got to do, and everybody else is focused on one thing too. I think I check the scoreboard around the MAC sometimes, but at the end of the day, we still have. We're only playing one team that week, so this week it's Miami, and I think that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Coach, you're pretty focused clearly on just the schedule as far as your team goes. But with Miami, they beat OU a couple weeks ago, and does that mean anything to you guys as far as Miami being a possible spoiler to the top teams in the East?
No. As I say every week, it doesn't matter who you're playing, and it doesn't matter what the record is. The teams are so close, so much parity in this league that anybody can get you. And if you're not prepared, they will get you. So our main focus is to make sure that our guys remember the process of what got them here and continue the process and do it a little bit harder and a little bit better each week. And that's about improvement.
Anthony, you have Kent State in your family. What are you hearing from? How much are they enjoying this?
Oh, they've never seen it before. My dad played here back, I want to say, 83 to 88, and he's never, not once has he ever seen the success that Kent State's having right now, and he's more excited than a lot of people. My grandpa lives in Kent. I have pretty much majority of my family lives in Kent, and they've never seen this, so it's exciting everywhere. And my grandpa's got a ton of friends in the community, and all they talk about is Kent State football, because something like this hasn't happened in this program in an extremely long time, and just everybody's excited about it, and to be a part of it right now is, especially as a freshman, it's an unbelievable feeling. Especially to hear the talk, to be the talk of the community, Kent State football being the talk of the community is just, it's great. It's great for for us, and it motivates us to do better, because we want to be the talk of the community, and I hear people talk about us, and it's really great what's happening here right now.